Hi everybody, this is Odd Samurai, and today I'm going to be reacting to Hunter x Hunter, chapter 417. So, 416 mainly just focused on Benjamin, Camilla, and Tserri. So, we all feel that Benjamin is not going to be able to kill Tserri, but I do think the big thing that is gonna affect Benjamin from not being able to recognize that he's being played, he's being tricked by Tserri, is that right now Benjamin is in a big high from that whole thing about Furikov using his ability on him and just feeling like a god, like, okay, once I'm done with all this, I'll basically transcend all of my siblings, every king before me. I'll literally become part of Kakin, and just, without me, the country cannot continue. So he's having a bit of a god complex, so I think he's gone definitely to his head. And at the same time, like, we've seen Benjamin be pretty smart, like how he figured out, how he was infected by the TSK-17, but he's also very emotional with the way that he cares about his soldiers, in his own way, and just how he reacted to realizing that his mother had been plotting against him. And in his mind, that meant he had been chosen. No, sorry, that Halkenberg had been chosen over himself. So, yeah, I'm really curious how this is gonna play out. There was also some interesting stuff with Camilla here. But, I already said a lot of what I think in regards to what I could gather from her reactions. And just how Benjamin dealt with being cursed. Basically being like, I don't fear death. What about you though? Because clearly from her Hatsu ability, I think, it's literally, to avoid her biggest fear, it seems. But will Benjamin be able to actually get rid of her? Because we didn't actually see him, use a vial of the TSK-17, so maybe he won't be able to, but I still think this was a really interesting interaction. So yeah, let's get to 417. Okay, yeah, it's basically the last page of the last one, but from a different angle. We're seeing, quite the detail. All the bullets coming out of Benjamin's gun and going through Tserri's body. And titled is Contingency. So Salkov has his arms up still, very, very concerned about what's happening, but he already knows the plan, though, I'm guessing even knowing it, he still has to be like, is this gonna work? But okay, Benjamin is looking quite intimidating. Your words are a pox upon society. You are hereby sentenced to death. Yo. The expression of the fake Tserri is kinda haunting. Also interesting framing of Benjamin with the background all being like, I'm guessing a imagery of actual pox. Okay, we see Benjamin's boot, and then Tserri's fake corpse. Just do more sounds, as it seems like Benjamin is stepping on him. This is a ruse? Since when? For how long? I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Sear this into your brain on your way to hell. I am the one who consigned you to oblivion. The bottom of my boot is the last thing you will see. Honestly, yeah, Benjamin is not noticing anything strange. And I think it's because he's being overconfident. That whole thing, like I talked about, is just blinding him from something that I feel like the usual Benjamin would be able to see. But okay. The boot is able to crush the head of the fake Tserri. Just some crushing sounds as Salkov is right behind what's happening. Phew. Damn, that's a really good drawing of Benjamin. You can really feel the relief now that he feels like he's killed Tserri. And honestly, it's not even like, oh yeah, you know, like, oh, that's, you know, it's it's not even a relief or something for us, the readers, to know that Benjamin is gonna be unsuccessful killing Tserri, because I want Tserri dead. Yeah, I find him interesting, but like Benjamin himself said, he is a disease to society. Obviously, Benjamin is bad in his own ways, but I would not be opposed to Benjamin being the one, just as long as Tserri is taken out. I thought you'd have a counter ability. Looks like you were still practicing, having just learned it. Let me give you a piece of advice. Setsu is very dangerous. It quells your guardian spirit beast as well. Do you even hear me? It is interesting that Benjamin is trying to talk to him after he supposedly crushed his head. But once again, though, it's showing his arrogance right now. Is First Prince Benjamin real? Or is he an illusion too? And if this isn't real, what about them? Salkov is so confused. Is everyone here seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Hey, you. Yes, sir. If you have the opportunity to provide testimony about this, say truthfully what you saw. He said the same thing as Serednik? Fourth Prince Serednik was a human scum. I was planning to kill him regardless of the succession battle. So this is basically vigilantism. That piece of trash is absolutely not a fallen hero of the Great Kakin succession battle. Fair enough. I executed Serednik at my sole discretion. His numerous crimes will be laid bare at trial. I have pardons and commuted sentences ready for anyone willing to testify against him. Think it over. Is it just a coincidence? Could this actually be real? Tserri really died? Was he really attacked by Benjamin? Is there a way to know for sure? And then he thinks back to Theta. That Theta's injury. Only people who use Nen can see it. If that's gone, that would be a sure way to quell his doubts. Salkov and Danjin will be handed over to the Central Justice Bureau and held there. Our military will also move there and use the 7th floor and its courtrooms as our Joint Force Command Center. Complete the preparations for taking over before I get there. Okay. This is where the real battle begins, fellow princess. Oh boy. We're just sticking to Benjamin's perspective, huh? We're not gonna know what the hell Tserri was doing while that whole thing was happening. Okay. Okay, he's taken the vial from his shoe. That's some cool paneling. Sacrifice yourself for the continued prosperity of the great Kakin Empire. How many princes? 2, the 5th and 6th. Sophia, where are the others? The 3rd and 7th princess escaped from before the proclamation. That's Zhang Lei and Lucidus, the 2 that are basically leaders of the mafia. A hunter assaulted Kanjidon and assisted in the 7th prince's escape. Gotcha. We can use that as leverage. After taking over the Justice Bureau, open a special tribunal and slap the Hunter Association with an extradition order. Demand they search and capture the 3rd and 7th princes in exchange. It seems that the 3rd prince might have manipulated Koventova with his guardian spirit beast ability. Koventova himself admits to aiding and abetting aiding and abetting and desires to be held and monitored. No need to hold him. If he was aware of it, it was semi-coercive. He was manipulated to aid Shanglei under certain circumstances. I will hear them out. As for room 1009, Captain Balsamilk was found unconscious sitting in a chair. Okay, so yeah. I remember that chapter when we saw Halkenberg shoot the arrow, and I was like, what the hell is he doing? Because, it seemed like it was aimed at Benjamin, exactly from what he was thinking. But no, once I thought about it more, he just used the arrow to switch bodies with someone else. And that's why he was tied up, so that Balsamilko would be tied up when he was the only one in his body. He was unharmed, and once he awoke and was asked the questions you had prepared, he proved to be himself without a doubt. What's going on? Wasn't it an ability to switch bodies? It was obvious from Big's actions. Halkenberg switched bodies somehow and activated his ability using Balsa's body. Okay. So in that regard, Benjamin is still on top of it, figuring things out. The captain also volunteered to be held, and he and Koventova are confined to the mess hall. What should we do? I will deal with these 2 princes first. I want to talk to them alone. Everyone, including those in the mess hall, go outside and stand by. Yes, sir. Okay. So that's Balsamilko, the real one. That's another one of Benjamin's guards. I forget his name though. But okay, they are there with Tubepa and Tyson. Hello, my dear brother, how do you do? Hi. Sorry to keep you waiting, and thank you for your cooperation. I will explain in brief about how we got here. I regret that there was a traitor in my army who stole part of a biological weapon. Oh dear, how scary. Who was it? We know who did it. It was one of my personal guards, who we believe to be connected to Camilla, though our investigation is ongoing. The weapon component isn't usable by itself, but we will do all we can do to get it back, thus the martial law. Why did you even bring it on board to deal with the creatures, to the dangerous creatures on the new continent? Well, as long as there's no danger of it being used, we can go back to killing each other, right? Heh, dark humor. There has been an update on that. The hunter called Kurapika has a theory that if multiple prisoners are still alive by the deadline, Kakin would lose the protection of his guardian spirit and the current regime will collapse. Right, so that info already got to him. However, we can all survive. I wrote you here because I thought it would be worth a debate among us all. But I'm afraid some refuse to entertain the idea. Oh, that's why. No shit, we saw him put the vial on the shoe. He's using it right now. Oh shit, he's gonna infect Tyson and into Vepa. That's big. It is weird though that we do not get to actually, clearly see him use it against Camilla. When, he straight up said to her, like, what would happen if I infected you with this? Well, I already have. Oh, yeah, that's, if I'm the first. Oh, never mind. Oh, I'm dumb. Literally, in the panel where he says, and if I'm the one responsible for your death, I have the same disease, and if I died first, who would your ability kill to bring you back to life? Yeah, you can clearly see the sound effect of for the TSK-17 being spread. Never mind. Oh, that was so small. I completely missed it. So glad I went back to it right now. Yeah, that's a lot more subtle than the one in this chapter. Okay. Back to it. Confinement within the VIP living quarters will continue until martial law is lifted. It's only a matter of time before we reacquire the weapon. As a formality, we will conduct a safety inspection of each of your quarters. Are they setting traps under the cover of these inspections? Did he need to go so far as to declare martial law just for that? There must be another intent. How much of this was true? We can be present for those inspections? Of course. I think you're the worthiest to be king, even without the succession battle. Oh, Tyson. Survival of the monarchy and prosperity. The succession battle has meaning, but even if the theory that the monarchy would collapse if the process doesn't complete is true, and there's a will to overturn the whole thing, the one closest to the throne is still you, and the monarchy would only shift into a military regime. Only once you and Camilla are gone will this proposal be persuasive. Man, to Vepa did not realize whatsoever what happened there. Okay, a panel of the black whale. Area A all clear, Area B secure, all areas of Tier 3 secure, Prince Benjamin arriving. Prince Benjamin on deck. Now there's Balsamilko. Your Highness? What? I still don't think we should be with you. The attacks that remain inside us are still unknowns. What about troop morale? And if anything happened to you? How trivial. Focus on analyzing enemy abilities if you have time to fret over trifling risks. You risk your lives to take on these enemy attacks. It's what any soldier would have done. The same goes for me. Yo. Oh. A curse by Camilla's personal guard. The secret art of the have-nots, I heard. I'm also infected with TSK and have half a day left to live. There's a possibility an even more powerful curse than the have-nots. One beyond place and Furica could be turned on me too. Yeah, man, just everything is against Benjamin right now. Isn't this exciting? Oh, okay. He likes a challenge. Yes, sir. What do we do to the enemy? Destroy them and death? Or friend? That tracks. Who are we? Kakin Royal Army Squad 1! Alright, soldiers through and through. But also it goes to show how, how much peace. That sounds contradictory, but like, peace within themselves they find following Benjamin as a leader. That's a part of why Benjamin is so strong. Literally his Hatsu ability. It's through the trust that others put on himself and how that goes back to him. I'll look into who the Ninth Prince could be currently switched with. The feather on their hand is a giveaway, so discovery will only be a matter of time. I leave it up to you. Find him. The coin is powerful enough that holding it for 10 days makes you spontaneously confess your secrets. The number is currently still 10, but I fear there will be further effects at the next magnitude. Keep it. There won't be any more changes. There aren't many places Shanghai could go. Hurt them from the top and curse them below. Oh? Sheesh, I was eating. If third Prince Zhanglei escaped below Tier 1, I can leave it to the Squad 3 recon team. Detain the Shiyu and Char bosses on suspicion of treason and conspiracy to overthrow the government. Escort them to the Justice Bureau. Considering Zhanglei's path is clear, Onur assisted in his escape. That's a felony. Tell them their only valid bargaining chip is the prince's whereabouts. Zhanglei went to Tier 2 right before the declaration via cross bridge from inside the Shiyu boss residence. Oh, this guy. Yeah, I recognize him from the shape of his head. I forget his name, but he was with Yushori. Currently confirming the route and following his straight follow-up, report in 15 minutes. Good. Tell the Squad 3 and 7 recon teams and the scouts to focus on capturing Zhanglei and 7th Prince Lucidus. If multiple princes survive past the deadline, we'd be in the darkest timeline. I have bad news for you. Does that mean it's equally bad if all of us are dead? Nay. That's a scenario that leads to a legislated national emergency separate from the succession battle. Emergency Law, Article 1. Sustain the monarchy in a crisis. If the monarch as well as all successors eligible for the throne are dead or face inevitable death through unavoidable attacks such as a bomb, an epidemic, riot, or natural disaster. Camilla has been infected with TSK and will die in 13 to 19 hours. Bell can come even during martial law. He's the Surgeon General. Call him now. Bring equipment and personnel from the Central Medical Office. Have the CDC or R&D anybody find out whether this is a bacteria or a virus. Okay, so she's trying. Struggle all you want. You pull the trigger first. Circumstantial evidence will all point to your terrorist attack. I eliminated Tserri. I feel like I flushed a massive problem out of my bowels. Good lord! And look at just the hole from Benjamin's foot onto Tserri's face. He was a parasite eating cocking from the inside. He fails as a human being, much less king. I finally have one less weight off my shoulders. I do agree with that. No, I mean, obviously I don't believe that he's dead, but the other stuff. I infected 5th Prince Tuepa and 6th Prince Tyson with TSK. They will die shortly after Camilla. I don't have a grudge against either of them. I can even respect them. But they're not king material. I won't waste your deaths. I will protect and guide the next king, and the next, and the one after that, as a leader of an ideal nation. Rest in peace. The way that he's spinning this around, I was like, oh, this is so honorable from you guys. Don't worry about it. Your sacrifices will not be in vain. As if they had any kind of choice. It's interesting. But hey, at least right now, Benjamin is kinda seeing himself in that way, since he's taking his death as a given. And also using it as a sacrifice for the greater good of Kakin. 11th Prince Fugetsu, her haggard appearance following 10th Prince Kacho's death cannot be faked. She was swarming with evil spirits and ghosts attracted to those who despair. Fugetsu is already as good as dead. She has suffered enough. I can at least let her die a peaceful death. The official story will be that she committed suicide by poison because she was afraid of the TSK infection. May she be born into an ordinary family in her next life. I will say though, as cruel as a lot of these internal thoughts are regarding the let's say decent-ish princess, you can tell that deep inside Benjamin did care for them. But when it came down to it, he would not put them above the country. Of course not, right? He's an extreme nationalist, but there's definitely something to be said about the fact that he is one, and yet he does manage to feel kinda sad that it has to come to this. 14th Prince Wobble, or rather 8th Prince Oito. Even if it was a last-ditch effort, I'm not impressed by this baby swap. 8th Prince Oito? Maybe there's some mistranslation there. It's supposed to be 8th Queen? Though I don't remember her number. Even if it was a last-ditch effort, I'm not impressed by this baby swap, but I can understand how she felt. To be surrounded by a family who would trade a baby's life for riches. And that her sister, a fellow mother of an infant, was the only one who supported her when she tried to defy that fate. It's a fact that it's 99% likely Wobble is ineligible. But who says I have to affect this fact as reality? Oh boy. It'll be a simple matter to have them officially declared dead. In deference to their resolve and with respect for their heart-wrenching decision to exchange their beloved children, if I can prove that Wobble is elsewhere, I will let their clan off with exile. But if the real Wobble is on board, whether she's eligible or not, I will accuse them of using a cheap trick to vie for the throne and have their entire clan wiped out for real. Okay. In the same breath, going from like, yeah, you know, I do kind of feel bad for them. They had no one, so of course they resorted to that, and then going, okay, but if Wobble is on the ship, then I will have her killed, and everyone, you know, that is basically a part of her clan, meaning from Oito's side of the family. That's so extreme, but yeah, of course, it is Benjamin. Emergency Powers Act. If the deaths of all heirs are unavoidable and only the current king survives, the current king will immediately name the next successors and in order and prepare for a contingency. Before I die, I must eliminate the remaining princes or infect them with TSK. A complete annihilation. Once that future is inevitable, it triggers the act and father will declare my child next in line for the throne. Wait, he's counting on Nasui, of all people, to be the one to declare his child the king? I don't know about that. I would not trust Nasui. Oh shit. Benjamin's guardian spirit beast ability. Gypsy Life. Bohemian Rhapsody? Okay. After Benjamin's death, it fuses with his nan and selects one of his blood relatives to become their guardian spirit beast. Once a prince fuses with a nan beast and loses their human body, like Prince Cacho, the right of succession is lost. The criteria for selecting which blood relative to haunt can be determined by Benjamin ahead of time or left to his guardian spirit beast's discretion. Forever after, the same criteria will be used every time the host dies and a new host must be chosen. I see. According to Furikov, my guardian spirit beast ability is one I can use to protect the Kakin Empire for all eternity. Yeah, I can see why he said that. If Beyond's curse is directed at me, the surest way to undo the curse is to bounce it back. I must die first. If by chance Beyond's curse activates first, and depending on its power and nature, there's a risk it may render my guardian spirit beast powerless. That would be... man. Basically just making everything that Benjamin worked for. This whole batch just all for nothing. Cursed mother and her treacherous blood. She knew Furikov couldn't eliminate the worst case scenario that Beyond's curse could be directed at me. Used that to manipulate him. She gave him the TSK knowing that my desire for national prosperity and selfless service to the public would lead me to declare special martial law. Through Furikov, she encouraged a murder-suicide of the other princes. She wants any one of her children to become king. When she learned of Beyond's ambitions, she shifted her focus to the brother who can be more easily manipulated. How dare she abuse Furikov's loyalty and mock me? I'm sure that seeing my actions is assured of her victory. Unfortunately, I will ask her to choose her own life or that of my brother. The ultimate choice. And that's the end of the chapter. Yeah, that was... Benjamin has basically been the main character for the last 2 chapters. And I'm all up for it, because he's been really compelling. But okay. Also, Benjamin is making a big assumption in regards to, like, his mother's intentions. That she chose Benjamin's brother over him. But, like, for, you know, all we know is that it's not that she chose his brother, whether it's Halkenberg or Tserri, but rather because she chose Beyond and is, you know, she's going along with his plan because they're just, you know, it's just suspicious how much she knew about that whole thing when Furikov talked about it to Benjamin when it was revealed that Furikov is a Beyond child. So I think there is a possibility that, you know, Halkenberg or Tserri could be a Beyond child. And so she's not choosing them, but rather Beyond. So if Benjamin gives her this ultimatum, it'll be easier for her because, you know, Benjamin is thinking about it in the wrong way. Yeah, a really good chapter. Benjamin's characterization just keeps on going consistently and strongly for how we know him as. Both, you know, in his ideologies and also in his, you know, dynamics. Just the fact that so many of his men are ready to just die for him, or rather die for his cause. But, you know, it goes both ways. Like, Benjamin also goes along with what they want sometimes, if it'll benefit him, but at the same time, like with Furikov, he took away a choice from Benjamin, you know. He infected him with the TSK-17. But it was all to like enhance his ability. And so in a way it's kind of like Furikov forcing his own view of Benjamin onto him. Now, you know, it turned out that Benjamin was okay with it. And that probably comes from the way that Benjamin sees his men as even closer than his own family. So just the fact that he saw it as like, oh, Furikov did this to benefit me, then I can forgive it. But yeah, I wonder what's gonna happen with Tuvepa now that she's been infected, since she has that whole alliance with Kurapika. Maybe he can help in some way, but I don't really know. Though now that Tyson has been infected too, I think she's gonna be for sure a prince that's gonna die relatively soon. I just don't see her having the resources to heal herself. I mean, Benjamin didn't even try. Granted, it's because he saw more value on Furykov's strategy. But we saw that Camilla is trying, though it could just be from her being unable to accept death, since, you know, she doesn't have anything that she can pour herself into for post-mortem then. But yeah, this is really interesting. I'm still like, surely we're gonna see what's gonna happen to, or rather, what did Tserri exactly do? Where did he go? But we are tied to Benjamin's POV right now, so I'm fine with waiting. But yeah, it's you know, a little sad how Benjamin is so gung-ho about dying. And how he's just become so delusional about this godhood status. If only Benjamin wasn't so militaristic and nationalistic, there could have been a universe where him and Kurapika could have worked together so that, you know, multiple princes survived, even if Kakin fell into ruin, but we're not in that universe. But yeah, I feel like there's a little more that I could talk about, but I'm gonna leave it here because I'm a little short on time today. But if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Till next time, see ya.